Today we'll be taking a look at a character who our impressions of have also changed drastically over the course of the series, but who, unlike her superior and close friend Maho, did have to change herself noticeably, for the better, since we first met her. Someone who went from an aggressive, impulsive competitor living in Maho's shadow to her own woman and a brilliant commander in her own right, Erika Itsumi. This week's video is brought to you by upcoming original manga Amaranth Angels. Cute anime girls, starfighters, and exciting space battles. Written by a Girls Und Panzer fan, for other fans of Girls Und Panzer and the military more genre in general. The full first volume is coming out later this year, and they now have a pre-order store live for anyone who missed a successful Kickstarter campaign late last year. Now, onto the video. In a series full of great characters, Erika really has become a standout, in large part due to how she's evolved and grown as a person over the course of the series, and how that change in her has led to a change in how many fans of the series perceive her. Obviously, spoilers ahead, seeing as Erika's journey covers the entirety of Girls Und Panzer thus far. As with Maho, we first met Erika way back in episode 5 in the Tank Cafe. While Maho really just projected an intimidating aura during that interaction, Erika was one who took an active role, engaging in some trash talk at Miho's and Orai's expense, coming off as more than a little arrogant. Again, a character who, in other sports series, often just exists to be nasty, and thus we enjoy seeing her getting her comeuppance, but who is a much more nuanced and interesting character in Girls Und Panzer. That arrogance of Erika's is there from this moment all the way through the start of the final match of the tournament, as we see when Erika is watching Orai's battle against Saunders, and then her behavior before the start of the finals, though really it largely seems to be a personal thing between her and Miho. I know that there's been a lot of time spent on Miho and Erika's relationship before the anime in the supplemental manga, but seeing as Girls Und Panzer is an anime original, and the anime holds the primary canon spot over the manga, I'll be focusing on just what we can read out from the show itself. It's clear that Erika, extremely loyal to Maho and the Nishizumi style of Senshiro, wasn't happy with Miho's actions during the previous tournament. And it's likely that she takes offense at Miho first leaving. Running away is a big no-no in Nishizumi style after all. But then, after claiming she wanted to leave Senshiro, suddenly she turns up commanding a rival ragtag team. It's therefore a bit understandable that Erika might feel insulted, either personally and or on behalf of Maho. Though Maho obviously never felt that way. This makes her early trash talk a bit more understandable, while still obviously in bad form. In that pivotal scene where Maho lends Orai the Koromori helicopter to help Mako, we see both that Erika has what to learn, given as she's questioning Maho's decision at first, but she also doesn't argue. And I'd be willing to argue myself that this isn't just because of how much she respects and admires Maho, but also because on a deeper level, she understands that this is the right thing to do. I know lots of people like to meme Erika as nothing more than a Maho sim, but while those jokes can be funny, it is a bit of a disservice to her character to just leave it at that. And as I mentioned before, Erika's arrogance carries over to the match against Orai, at least the start of it, or the first half rather, with her comments before the match and her attitude early on. Very arrogant and dismissive, which, of course, led her to get easily frustrated when things didn't exactly go Koromori Mine's way at the start. However, despite her arguably negative emotional characteristics, she does a perfectly good job as vice commander here, and very nearly manages to come to Maho's aid before the match was concluded. However, after this match, we get to see a different side of her, if only briefly. As Miho finished her talk with Maho, Erika, not sounding upset but rather good-natured, promises that next time, she'll win. Already we see a bit of a shift, perhaps in part due to seeing Maho's opinion on Miho Senshiro and the match itself, with at least most of her arrogance gone, and her excited for the next match. Presumably the fact that they're no longer competing actively helped with that. Not exactly what you might have expected from a character like Erika, given her actions and attitude earlier, however. But it shows us in a very brief moment that she's capable of changing, and of, well, mellowing out a bit. This trend continues in their film, at least in the later half, seeing as, early on in the battle, she tries to maintain her cool, aloof status, only for Maho to possibly, unintentionally, shoot down both of her attempts at being cool and snarky.
何それ迫力ないわねそれで行こう個々の特徴を生かしてチームワークで戦いましょう急増チームでチームワーク急増でもチームはチームだ
But seeing her hanging out with Katyusha and giving her a shoulder ride in place of Nona and Clara, don't tell them, as they watch the conclusion of the match, was very cute, and it foreshadowed the growth of their friendship, which we see in the Das Finale 4 OVA. But before we could get fully into the most important moments for Erika in Das Finale, we need to touch on a key aspect of her character. I know I've brought up the concept of Gap Moe before, and Erika is one of the best examples of a gap moe character in perhaps all of anime, while also being a bit of a tsundere, though not in a romantic sense, of course. After all, much of the time we see Erika, especially early on when she's trying to both impress and emulate Maho, her role model, she puts on a very cold persona, acting cool and tough. And that's really the general impression we've had of her through even most of their film. It's only later on that we see this other side of her, the cute side, really show itself, and prove to many viewers that they were too quick to judge her in her early appearances. Though we can't exactly blame them for that. Das finale for Erika starts at a low point, possibly her lowest point, with Mao having left for university in Germany. Their little video call with Erika in the bare, dark shack is probably both a little reference to late World War II Germany, and also a visual way to show her being not necessarily depressed, but definitely down over her best friend, commander, and role model no longer being by her side. And with the responsibility of leading the storied Kuromori Mine team on her own, weighing on her. It's daunting, and at least at first, she doesn't really understand Maho's message about finding her own Senshido. But when push comes to shove, and it's clear that the Nishizumi style she's been trying to emulate isn't working for her, Erika finally manages, thanks to Maho's encouragement, to break away from attempting to be someone else and embrace her own Senshido style, which allows her to pull off a bit of an upset win in the battle against Pravda, and give us the cutest Erika moment of the series. I don't think anyone saw this coming when we first met Erika way back in episode 5. Since that point, she's come across as much more loose and relaxed, and dare I say happy. Obviously, she's still very competitive and hates losing, but her overall demeanor is much improved. And this has led to her being a much better commander than the overly aggressive, tightly wound girl we saw in the Oroai vs. Kuromori Mine battle. And while she ultimately comes up just a bit short in the battle against Saint Gloriana, Erika's leadership of her team in a very tough match, fully embracing her own style of Senshido, really demonstrates her fully coming into her own. And for the first time, at least from our point of view, Erika is really just enjoying Senshido as well as trying to win. It's a complete change of attitude from what we saw during the Oroai vs. Kuromori Mine battle. Shifting back to Erika outside of competitive Senshido, she does seem to have developed a camaraderie, if not a close friendship, with another somewhat tsundere-natured girl in Katyusha, just like at their interactions in the Taicho War OVA, both their little argument and then their exchanged looks. Despite being the commanders of rival schools, they have quite a bit in common after all, and they've realized it. I also love this piece of art, which I believe is official, of Katyusha trying to help a nervous Erika relax a bit before their DOS finale match. While Erika has learned to relax, however, she is still a bit more grounded than some of the other colorful Senshido commanders, as we see in the Taicho War OVA. She is kind of the quote-unquote straight man in the room, cringing and dying a bit inside at some of the somewhat silly, eccentric ideas her peers throw out. Her reactions here really are priceless, and I can relate, having been in a couple similar situations myself. But it's also important to remember that she's not coming off as aloof or above it all here. She's just a little bit more serious, though she still has her own lighter moment with her cute suggestion, something that also shows her more positive mindset now. As with the other characters in the show, Erika also understands the true essence of Senshido, though unlike many she had to learn this, as opposed to Maho, who I believe always understood what mattered most despite her cool exterior. Erika was a sort of hyper-competitive person who let her arrogance get the better of her to the point where she could be mean to others. Whether this simply came from a place of her trying to look cool for Maho, or if it was a negative aspect of Kuromori Mine and Nishizumi's style that she took too much to heart, she was understandably disliked by many fans early on. Or I guess liked by some fans who are into that sort of thing. But she demonstrated that she was capable of learning, of changing for the better. And we probably have both Nishizumi's sisters to thank for that, given Mio's demonstration of how balancing tradition and being true to yourself can lead to success. As this all leads to Erika overcoming her flaws and becoming the better, more positive person she was always able to be. It's quite a noticeable and wholesome transformation, and hopefully her loss to Saint Gloriana won't do anything to dampen that, though we could allow her a bit of frustration, as losing is never fun. I'm sure we'll see her during the finals, quite possibly cheering Miho on. And, hopefully, more fans of the series will acknowledge Erika's positive growth and treat her a little nicer. She's a good girl when you get down to it, though she was a little rougher around the edges for a while. Just don't tell her we know, or she'll get all embarrassed and try to hide her cute side. If you enjoyed this video and like to support me in what I do here, my books and light novels are all available on Amazon. And you get early access to videos, sneak peeks, and updates on my upcoming manga and other projects by subscribing over on Patreon. I also offer channel memberships which get you access to monthly members-only watch-along streams. And as always, if you have any thoughts on this video or anything Girls Und Panzer related you'd like me to talk about, definitely share them in the comment section below. I'd love to hear them, and while I might not get to respond to every comment, at least not in a timely manner, I can guarantee that I read each of them. And don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss any future uploads. That's all for now, so until next time.